First of all, welcome. Thank you for taking time out of your days to spend the next 20 minutes with us. The first thing I would like to do is introduce, to my right, I have Chef Hans Ream.
How are you, folks?
Rich's Food Service
Thank you for showing up.
At least you get all the claps, you always do. To my left, I have Chef Greg Markowski from Lincoln Mary Chef. And what we'd like to do, you showed up right on time. So what we'd like to spend the next 20 minutes doing is telling you a little bit about our advanced cooking technology. In order to do that, we're going to take a few steps back to the 1960s, where Mary Chef developed the microwave technology. So those of you watching at home can stay with us as well. And what we're going to do is move into the 1970s and talk a little bit about the combo therm and how it evolved with the combi ovens. So the way we're going to do this is we're going to be showing you some food products, but the food products aren't just going to showcase the ovens. We're also showcasing how we're kind of evolving as equipment manufacturers with food service products. So when we have customers, or we have our partners like McCain's, like Nestle's, like Rich's, who have been kind enough to bring some of their products for us to showcase, that we're able to show how the advanced cooking technology falls right in line with how products are coming from the factory. So we're going to be using a lot of trends that we noticed this year, as far as, like healthier options. If you were at this morning's demonstration, you would have saw that this morning we had a gluten-free French toast. So if you had an allergy, or even if you're not allergy sensitive, it still offered a healthy option. So what we're going to do now, and I believe Hans has in currently, is we're going to do a French fried, is it green beans right now?
1, 2, 3. Now.
Perfect timing.
How did that know that?
It's almost like it's made for TV, right? Like it's automatically coming out. And what he's got coming out right now is this is just basically a pizza stick. Now normally that wouldn't be that exciting, but what you have to look at when you're talking about advanced cooking technology is the steps that have been removed to produce that product. Normally, that product has to be pulled from frozen the day before because it's a dough, retarded overnight, and then it has to be placed into an oven and baked off. Whereas here what we've done in the combo therm by Cleveland, by using steam, we're actually going to put it in the oven, and under 15 minutes we have a fresh cooked product. All right? This is a bacon cheddar dip right here that we're going to be serving to you, so you kind of want to hold on to that because there's a few different things that you can use in there. So following some of the trends that we have with food, some of the mega trends we see this year with foods are going to be healthier options. They're going to be familiar foods, comfort foods. Because where the economy's at, it's going to be smaller plates, smaller portions with familiar foods. And that's really what we've done.
Here they are.
Chef, what do we have here?
We have the crushed breadsticks.
Excellent. So what we have here is we just have to set that right there for you. See, I can learn, right? Doesn't only takes me a day. There you are. Yep. So these right here were cooked in the combo therm and done from frozen in under 14 minutes. We get everybody over here? No. So moving right along, we also have our Induction by Garland. So if you move over here right where Chef Hans is standing, you can see our Induction tops. You see the walk in front and you see the flat top in back. And Induction is part of the accelerated cooking technology as well because that is instant. Only when the pan makes contact does that actually start to heat up the pan. And you can actually start to boil water in under 90 seconds because of that direct contact. So we have the walk style and we also have the flat top version available right behind. To my left, you see the Mary Chef. The Mary Chef is using multiple cooking technologies as well. It's using a microwave assist,